Okay, I think we're live. Good morning. Al Linkle's here. It is a Friday morning. I got my Pentwater sweatshirt on. I actually bought this sweatshirt at my last retreat. And if you're not aware, I host retreats twice a year. Actually, sometimes more than twice a year. This year it's been more than twice a year. I have one coming up in September in Pentwater, and I still have 3 spots for that retreat. Um, if you share a bed, I have more spots. So if you want to come as friends or couples and I've got a bedroom that's got a couple of rooms in it. It's a gorgeous bed and breakfast that I've rented out the whole house for this one in Pentwater. And what's lovely about Pentwater is that you don't have to lock anything. You can, you don't even need a car. Like if you flew in and I picked you up or one of my kids picked you up and got you to Pentwater, you can walk to the beach, you can walk to the little downtown and all the shops and restaurants. You can access everything from where we are in the town. And that's not always the case with some beaches. Some beaches you have to go out channels and to get to them on Lake Michigan. But Pentwater is really beautiful. My husband grew up there when he was little. We just consider it really idyllic. We've vacationed there many years, and I think since 2018, I've been hosting retreats there. So that one's coming up, and then in October, I'm doing one in New Hampshire. So for those of you who live out there or want to fly out, gosh, I remember one of my retreats. I had people come in from Utah, Portland, um, came across on the ferry from Wisconsin, and of course Michigan. So people come from all over. What do we do at those retreats? I help you. It depends on who's coming. So I always have a theme and I design it. And we always start with basics, the basics of pressure-free living, the basics of the pressure-free method. And there's a lot of sharing that goes out. I give you plenty of free time to, really assess what we're working on and think about it. I also stock the fridges. So for breakfast and lunch, we have those on site on the wherever we are. And then I take you out for dinner both nights. So you can come in on the first day around 4 or 5 p.m. We get started around 6. And then on the last day, we end around 11. Do 2 nights, 10 or 11, depending on when we have to leave the Airbnb. Or the bed and breakfast in this case. So 2 nights. If you're interested in learning more, just DM me. I would love to share with you. It's one of the most fun things I get to do in my business because I get to meet some of my clients who live far away in person, and that is always a joy. So if you are one of my clients, you get this for free. I actually bonus a retreat to all of my clients, whether you're in the adult program or the certification program. So a retreat comes with your package. Let's see. So let's dive into this idea of perfection. It's perfect because when I was first creating my retreats, I'm a perfectionist and I attract a lot of perfectionists as clients. It's not enough to just be enough, but we want to be perfect about things. And I remember how much I had to just like let go and realize that what I do at a retreat is hold space for people to have whatever experience they're going to have, like have that downtime and have that exploration time. And so, uh, and I coach people, especially in my certification program, that you've got to start just doing it messy. Just like when I first was beginning to play the violin, my technique was horrible, right? It's like you're learning, you're figuring things out. And it's more about striving to perfection. And I actually love the word perfection. And here are some of my thoughts about it, which might be helpful to you too. I think we come out into the world already perfect. We don't have to prove anything to anyone. And that proving to someone else is what really kind of messes us up. So what I really stand for is that inner empowerment to allow our gifts and talents to shine and flow. And that's if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you've ever seen that pyramid, where down at the bottom are the very basics, like food, security, water, shelter, safety is a huge one. So that's in the bottom. And then these layers go up, and the very top one is self-actualization. What does that mean? When I think about what it means, when I really go into it, it's like your gifts and talents are flowing out, and you're giving to your community, to your workplace, to your family, with no sense that you need anything back. Like you're enlightened and empowered from the inside, if that makes sense. That's my ideal of self-actualization. Where's my mind going, right? So self-actualization is like this inner empowerment opening. So how do we get there? And what gets in our way? If you have those tightening thoughts that, oh my gosh, I can't do this well enough, or I'm never going to be good enough. And we all have them. Mine hit me my sophomore year in college, like really big. My sophomore year, I was studying with an amazing professor at University of Michigan. I was probably his la least talented student. I'm going to come right out and say it. Like I spent an entire semester on just little tiny bits of music as I was recrafting my technique and learning from him. And I remember being kind of treated rather poorly by one of the people in the studio. Like they said something and it really, really hurt my feelings. Like I was just trying to learn and grow. And and I hit this one point. I was also in his orchestra. He was the conductor of the orchestra I was in at Michigan. Um, and all of a sudden, when I came home from a rehearsal and I felt like I'm just never going to be good enough. I was in the first violin section. I mean, I was learning a lot. I was growing massively. But I had been a big fish in a little pond in New Hampshire, coming to the University of Michigan, one of the greatest music schools in the country. So there's a lot of competition. And it took me 3 days to get out of that. And it was actually my professor calling me and saying, Miss Sterrett, you missed your lesson. That's not like you. And I told him why. I was completely honest. Why? That I didn't feel like I could ever be good enough. And he started to share with me my growth, because sometimes we don't see our own growth. And so when he shared with me, and he took me as a student because he saw my chutzpah, he saw my desire to want to improve myself, not to beat anybody else, but just to grow. So when you can tap into some of those ideas, like I'm learning French or I'm learning this because I want to grow. Sometimes we're so caught up in work and family and other things that we don't even see our growth. We don't even see these places where we're growing. So just taking time, like coming to the retreat and taking some time to see, oh, wow, look at this. Maybe you're raising your kids and you're, experiencing all sorts of challenges, right? But in those challenges, asking yourself, well, how can I grow here and how can I help them grow? One of the things I talk about in my parenting book is is our job as parents is to nurture and guide. It's not to control. It's not to shove down and push down and mold. It's to nurture and guide their unique gifts and talents. Not every child is going to be the same. I remember when the psychology teacher at my son's high school, we saw each other downtown, and she pulled me aside. She goes, I just have to tell you this. She goes, the way that you parent your children is amazing. She says, I just have never seen that, where you allow each one of them to be so unique and different. And she had, in various ways, seen all three of our children. And I think that's so, so important that we take the time to really know each other. And again, are you putting down some rules in yourself that I have to be so perfect, or so and so won't like me, or I will be rejected, or I'll lose my job? Like, what are all those things that go through our head? So if you can just pause for a moment when you hit one of those, because it's going to cause a tightening. You may see it in your shoulders. I talk about the jaw too. When you encounter one of those feelings like, oh my God, I'm just not good enough here, or I need to be better, or they're just not going to hire me or want me, or those kinds of feelings, when those come in, Just pause for a moment. You feel usually you feel some sort of feeling like you're unsafe when you're going to if you're going to be rejected. Let's take it to its fullest here. If you're going to be rejected because you're not good enough, okay? And if you're pushed out of the tribe, where we all come from tribal situations throughout the millennia. So if we're pushed out of the tribe, we might not survive. That's our deeper fear, that we might not survive. So we'll isolate. We'll be so afraid. So here's this moment. You start to feel the tension. The thought comes in, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'll never be perfect enough for them. And whatever that thought is, that is your moment. That is your moment to prevent the fight or flight stress response. Because once you go into that, your brain can just go crazy. One of my recovery tools for pressure free, I was just teaching recovery tools to a client last night, is know and trust you can get over this. When those thoughts come in and start that spinning, that's a sign that you've triggered fight or flight. And you're in the part of your brain that is not logical, it's not rational. It's going to start piling on all the things you do wrong, all the ways you are inadequate. Like it will just pile on. Have you ever felt that? I sure have. It's like boom, 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 boom. It's just coming at you like rapid fire, right? That's because you're in this adrenalized brain and all you're trying to do is protect yourself. You've got to protect yourself from the attack, from the enemy. So we're in that mindset. That mindset is the thing that takes us out. It just takes us out of truly who we really are. I mean, I have clients tell me, "Elle, you help me find the real me. That's not the stressed me. The real me is not the stressed me." I love that because it's so true. It's like, let's find the real us. I didn't really know the real me until 2010. I thought I did. I thought I did. I really did. But until I got out of the stress cycle of constant hormone releases, then I found the real me. It was amazing. It's a cool feeling. So the thought comes, you feel this tension. That's your moment. That is your moment to redirect, to change. So how do we do that? First step, first step always is go right to those abs. You need to feel safer. So relax your belly, relax those way lower abs. And so now you're just like kind of opening. Now lift your ribs. So ribs up is one of my slogans. You're lifting your ribs up away from your hips and you're elongating the front of your body. You may feel a shift in like your in your head even because you just opened up your discs in your spine and you just gave all those nerves and blood vessels more room. So you're in this body position, and the reason a body position is so critical is because our bodies influence our psychology. If we go into the coiled, tight position, our jaws tense and everything, those tense thoughts, I mean, now we're in the position of I need to protect myself. So that's why I have you go open and wide. The other reason I have you do a big motion, like celebration Ferris wheel, where you're pushing the little wheel that goes round and round, that's the energy of your life. You're just giving yourself quality life in the moment. So push your arms up. Now leave them up and very gently bring them back, but don't change your ribs. And now you're look how much I grew on the screen. I grew inches on the screen here. It's fun to do that with a client, and they're like, oh, look at how tall I am now. Look at how we can shrink down and look at how we can get up. The reason I have you do a motion, unusual motion, like my swim or my Ferris wheel or my flip the switch, unusual motion is one of the fastest ways to open new neural pathways. Like that's how we learned as children. Gross motor motion on the playground is actually how our cortex grows from back to front.